In the shadow of a world teetering on the edge of disorder, social contract theory warns that humanity survives only when individuals keep contributing to the greater system.
Historically, the value of a human being in a society has been tied very strongly / deeply to one's productive output that benefits his community. And this inherent need to contribute and this deeply embedded sense of wanting to pursue something that's more than just for the good of oneself goes a long way back, because this is something that's part of the social contract theory. This goes back right down to the moment where humans decided to work together. So from the hunter-gatherer phases of human civilization to the agricultural phases to the industrial and the post-industrial phases, this is a consistent theme. And this inherent need to want to pursue and contribute for the betterment of oneself and the society has led us to many astonishing inventions and discoveries that we cannot live without today. The human society as we know it today will not exist without some of these inventions. Inventions like electricity and telecommunications, agriculture, large-scale agriculture, without which we can't sustain the food demands of such a large population. Think of electricity, think of vaccines and modern healthcare. None of this would be possible without the pursuits of certain groups of people and individuals for the betterment of the human society. And this need to work and contribute is clearly not just linked to monetary benefits or the transaction of work and reward. You show up at your day job, you work a 9 to 5 and you leave, you clock in and clock out and you get a paycheck. It's beyond just that, because there are studies that show that people with altruistic tendencies who volunteer to any causes that they're passionate about tend to show a much better health / well-being in their personal lives as opposed to someone who's just driven by self-interest. So this clearly shows that the need to want to work and contribute is more than just transactional. And through this inherent human need to contribute has come great inventions. But what has also come through this pursuit of greatness and betterment are some rather deeply detrimental inventions. And the biggest, most obvious guess one can make is nuclear weaponry. And the idea behind it, of course, the purpose, the intention, of course, is always something good. As was with CFCs or asbestos, a legendary, groundbreaking coolant / aerosol propellant that can be used in residential, industrial places, or marvelous new construction materials with great insulating properties, both of which, in one way or another, was later than sooner, discovered to cause cancer. And the general use of both have been significantly limited and restricted in most cases. And on a similar note, we've now stumbled upon a generational discovery / invention, a market-breaking, human civilization shifting invention or development in the tech space, and I can't make it more obvious. It is artificial intelligence. We are completely taken aback by its never before seen capabilities. We are in awe of its use cases. We are so disillusioned by its promises of getting even better day over day, exponentially to the point where we have blinded ourselves to the long-term vision of the consequences of what it's actually doing to us. And that is concerning.
AI has taken my work out of my hands. It writes the poems I once carried in my heart and paints the pictures that lived only in my soul. What else is left for my soul to seek if a machine does it all?
Artificial intelligence has already penetrated every socioeconomic structure out there, every age group, every demographic, because you have tech companies using AI to write large portions of their code repositories. You have governments out there using AI to draft and frame their laws. You have small scale businesses and large scale businesses using AI to, set up their marketing campaigns and advertisement policies. You have entrepreneurs using AI to set up solo ventures. You have younger generations and senior citizens using AI for therapy. And you have vegetable/fruit vendors in poorer countries using goggles to train AI models. So it's clearly out there. And the rate of adoption is only set to go higher because governments are funding and providing tax reliefs and incentives and benefits to these businesses setting up large-scale AI infrastructure.
From AI to cloud services, India's appetite for data is exploding. To meet this surge, the government has drafted a plan offering data center developers tax holidays of up to 20 years, but only those who deliver on expansion, efficiency, and employment will qualify.
All while there are massive implications for people who are currently in the job market and people who are entering the job market, because businesses are downsizing and firing employees by the thousands across the world because AI is, doing most of it for them. And the tech industry is being hit hardest because that's where it starts.
Puneet Johnson with the details of the same. Puneet.
Well, thank you for that. Definitely 12 to 15,000 jobs expected to be impacted because of the latest cut from Cognizant. And
businesses are denying year-end bonuses for employees and instead using this fund to invest in AI. Businesses are either freezing their hiring or hiring lower and lower than historic rates because they don't need fresh talent in their businesses anymore because they have an AI first policy.
3 years from now, 500,000 human employees and 500,000 AI agents, 1 to 1.
So graduates coming out of colleges and universities with dreams and ambitions do not have opportunities to pursue their growth and early career starts. And while this happens, the fact that the tech CEOs are traveling the world promising abundance and cures for cancer, and there are trillions in investments from the public and the private sector flowing into these businesses.
We say, hey, AI is going to cure a bunch of diseases. I believe it will reach that level, that it will be smarter than most or all humans in most or all ways.
That it'll be a huge up-leveling of people where everybody will be a lot more powerful.
The AI boom is reshuffling the global equity market rankings, with Taiwan and South Korea leapfrogging past long-established markets in Europe and North America. Taiwan has climbed past Canada to become the world's 6th largest equity market, while South Korea has moved into 8th place, ahead of the United Kingdom.
All this happened within the span of just a few months, because last December, they were in the 9th and 11th places respectively.
Accelerates this situation further. And when this is happening, you bump into real people living real lives, facing the very real consequences of AI job displacement. It is hard to ignore certain conversations, and it becomes even harder not to question certain things. Because when real people are struggling to buy homes when the average household can no longer afford homes.
The average Indian homeowner now pays 61% of their take-home salary as EMI on their home loan. 61%.
And you have the government subsidizing AI infrastructure rather than framing governance policies to protect people from its implications, because they have a governance first and infrastructure first and governance later policy, rather than being governance first and infrastructure later.
Calls are growing across the United States for moratoriums on new AI data centers over their impact on energy costs, water and land use, the U.S. economy, greenhouse gas emissions, and democracy.
Infrastructure and boost investment in data centers. I propose to provide tax holiday till 2047 to any foreign company that provides cloud services.
మేము దాన్ని సాగు చేసుకొని జీడి మామిడి మరియు ఇతర పంటలు పండించుకుంటూ వదిలేసుకుంటామండి. దాని మీదే బతుకు జీవనాధారం సాగిస్తున్నామండి. మీ మధ్యలో మాకు గూగుల్ కంపెనీ అనేది రావడం వల్ల, మీకు ప్రభుత్వం మీ గూగుల్ కంపెనీ వచ్చిందని చెప్పడం వల్ల దానివల్ల చాలా బాధపడుతున్నాము, ఉన్న భూమి పోతుందని.
It's a recipe for disaster. The people should push the government to answer certain very hard questions, like in the current state of affairs, who is in the receiving end of the promise of abundance? And in the transition between where we are now and the promised utopia, how many millions will perish in the pursuit of this AI-led world? And in the capitalistic world that we live in, how fair and altruistic do we believe that these corporations and businesses are going to be in the distribution of wealth and resources in a world where employment is only an option? And when everyone is intelligent, when intelligence is commoditized and distributed across the world with anyone having access to compute tokens, is power democratically distributed because everyone is intelligent, or is this situation a breeding ground for monopolistic tendencies because there's a very select few individuals there's a very small group of people with their finger on the switch who decide to enable or disable intelligence for the masses? And the value of human life, fundamentally, right from the bottom, from the foundational structure of the societal fabric, who decides what a human life is worth when the value placed on a human life as a result of its productive output to societal benefit changes because the society's primary unit of production is now an AI-based machine and not a human anymore? What personal or societal value would a human hold? These are questions that are not being asked in a world where everyone is hooked to see what's the next big thing that AI is going to do. And without the right policies and frameworks in place to protect people from such deep changes, is the rapid growth really at society's benefit, or is it a long-term doom that we are walking into?
Artificial intelligence needs to be disarmed. The word is strong, I know, but deliberately chosen because this moment needs words capable of attracting attention, awakening consciences, and indicating paths forward for humanity.
as I spend time thinking about these questions and thinking about what I would have to say if these questions were brought up, someone who I least expected to speak about this actually spoke about this, the Pope. And the Pope's take on AI is probably one of the best I've seen so far, because the Pope talks about how AI needs to be constrained with ethical frameworks to stop it from becoming an instrument of dominance, warfare, or exclusion. Because he believes that AI should be fundamentally built to the benefit of human needs and pursuits and not to surpass or replace them. He beautifully calls out how AI has no bodies, no emotions, no feelings, that AI cannot feel love or pain the way humans do. And it's interesting because I try to imagine what some of history's best philosophers would have to say, because if we look at Nietzsche, who believes humans can create meaning where there is none because they can transform suffering and struggling to value, and Aristotle, who believes humans flourish through rational reasoning and value, and the best life is one that is lived in pursuit of potential and once attained is used in the benefit of society and community. And Ernest Hemingway, who believes a meaningful life is one that is centered around growth, creativity, and pursuit of transformation and bettering oneself. And if they were to be introduced to AI and the world that AI aims to create, what would they have to say? Because if reasoning and rationality and rational thought is outsourced to algorithms, if value is no longer dependent on human output because societal productivity has shifted from the hands of humans involved in the societal fabric itself to machines that are powered by automated algorithms, and if the pursuit no longer holds meaning because any pursuable, desirable, or admirable trait or capability is already commoditized and served via algorithmic platforms, if creativity and original thought is no longer human because creativity and thoughts are accessible and rationed out through compute tokens, what value would original thought have? What value would the pursuit of a particular skill or knowledge have? What need would humans have to seek discomfort in the journey of achieving something greater than what they already have? Because what they already have is the ability to do anything they want, to learn anything they need to in an instant. And if humans are given the promise and the ability to learn and do anything on an instant, because there no longer is the discomfort of the pursuit, because that has been replaced by the comfort and convenience and the spontaneity of AI, why would anyone want to trade that for the painful pursuit of meaning? In a world like that, is it a dream scenario to have absolutely no need to work? Is it a dream scenario to have no meaningful reward in engaging in any form of contribution to the society? Or is it a nightmare to have absolutely no need to work and participate in the societal functioning and human evolution because machines can do it for us? And it's concerning because in those situations, what's not needed is us. These are questions that needed to be answered before the large-scale adoption of something so groundbreaking and transformational. And the fact that something like this is already out there and we are left to deal with the variables post-intrusion of AI in all of our lives kind of reminds me of the basilisk paradox. If you know there's going to be a superintelligence in the future that would punish you for any action that you have taken in any timeline against its presence and would reward you for benefiting its existence, why would anyone work against it? These are thoughts that I wish everyone had and everyone pushed for governments to have as well, because these are conversations and these are ideas that are going to shape what humanity is going to be in the future. And I, as a humble part of the human civilization, am very curious to see how it goes, because I hope for the best of humanity that when artificial general intelligence comes into play, it's more benevolent than I think it's probably not going to be. Thank you so much for watching. I don't know what this is going to be, maybe like 30-40 minutes of me ranting about how AI is going to eat into our futures. But I'm really interested to hear your thoughts. So if you've got strong opinions like I have, feel free to hit me up with it, because I would be excited to engage in a conversation with you about this. That is a wrap for now. Be good, do good. I'll see you out there.